Oh, I need a drink for this one. I think any bride would have found this funny at the time. I could do with the rosé. Wrong on the day. We know down the line it probably wasn't. It was not straightforward, no. I never want to look at them spreadsheets again. Anything you'll do differently?
Wrong on the day. A few things.
Yeah, do you want to spill the tea? Your girl got married. Welcome back to the channel. There is so much to fill you guys in on, and if you are new here, I got married a month ago, well, a month ago and a little bit now, in May in Sorrento in Italy, and it was honestly the best day of my life. So I have so much to share with you guys. I have done a Q&A over on my Instagram and I'll be answering a lot of those questions. Chris is also going to be in on the video and answering them with me. Obviously he has as much insight on the day as I do, so I thought it would be nice for us to finally sit down and do the Q&A together, because I was running a wedding series here on my channel, so there's lots of videos to catch up on if you are new here of the whole process, because my god, wedding planning was such a process for us. We were planning our wedding for over a year, so it now feels so weird that the wedding is over and I've just been a little bit like, what do I do with myself now, because it took up so much of my time. So I'm going to be here taking up some of your guys' time. This is probably going to be a long one, so make sure you grab a cup of tea, a coffee, a glass of wine, whatever it is. We're going to spill the tea again. So I've got quite a few notes here on my phone to kind of touch on the main scope. I thought it's going to be easier to kind of do the intro and go over the main details of the wedding, and then we can get into the nitty gritty with the Q&A. I have also featured in a recent article over on the wedding edition, which is really exciting. I will leave it linked down below so you guys can catch up there. There's also a lot of photos that haven't been seen yet. We have had all of our photos back now from the photographer, which has been so nice to relive it, and we are soon going to be sharing the video here on YouTube, which I cannot wait to see and share with you guys. One of my most asked questions, this isn't from the Q&A, this has just been generally in my DMs. I know a lot of you were asking questions straight away and I haven't got round to answering them, but one of the main questions has been around the prep for the wedding and what I did in the lead up. I do have a highlight over on my Instagram. It is named Wedding Prep, so you can find a lot over there in terms of the treatments I was having, and a lot of the treatments are kind of my regular treatments anyway. I was getting laser for my underarms and my bikini. I was getting my brows done, which I do get regularly, which is my brow lamination. I've just recently had them redone again. And again, other treatments that I usually have, like my alveolar lash lift. So I didn't really go and do anything too drastic or too different. I did also have Botox in the 3 areas, which is here, here, and my crow's line. And I was getting a few facials in the lead up. And these facials really helped with my pigmentation. They were micro peels, so it really helped to exfoliate. And having regular treatments like this in the lead up, I find it does help. And it really does just make you feel that little bit more confident within your skin as well. So, and alongside, which has been the main question, is what was my workout routine and what was I eating? Because within, I would say, the prior 2 months of my wedding, my body changed the most, and I did factor this in with my dress fittings and obviously got the dress fitted to how my body had changed. This is down to a lot of things, but I'm going to just kind of touch on the main points, and then in future vlogs I will be diving into this a little bit more. But I would say doing reformer Pilates regularly has changed my body so much, and also my mental health. And alongside, I've actually been getting into running again. So I've been doing my cardio, and I was doing quite usually 5Ks. Me and Chris would either do them together to motivate each other, or I was just doing them on my own. And since moving and having the countryside on my doorstep, I find it a lot more enjoyable. Between, I would say, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, because I was having issues with my shoulders, I was going to physio, I was doing some weightlifting as well, which was very small weights, and I was doing them at home. It wasn't too anything drastic, just more to help with toning. And then I was also really homing into what I was eating. I was eating a lot more whole foods. I don't really believe in diets as such. I find diets have never worked for me. I either do them for a few days and then I fall off the bandwagon, or it just doesn't work within my lifestyle. So for me, just swapping it out and having more whole foods. We cook a lot more at home, so we were obviously knowing a lot more ingredients that we were putting into our bodies. Just not really having processed foods, a lot of salts, a lot of unhealthy fats, sweets, sugars, and also trying to cut out alcohol where possible, apart from also just being so stressed. I honestly do think the stress had a massive impact on my body. I wasn't eating as much, I wasn't sleeping as much, and this was just generally, I was taking on far too much. The wedding was like a full-time job in itself, and then obviously I run my own business, and then alongside that I had 2 collaboration launches and doing home renovations. So the stress I had on my body, I think, had really impacted how my body had changed as well. The thing that I also homed in on was my beauty regime. So with my skincare, I do have my favorites, and I kind of stuck to these favorites because I knew they worked for my skin. A lot of these products are Elemis, Caudalie. I also like Elizabeth Arden, and I was also using La Roche-Posay. So I was just using these consistently, religiously. That really helped with my skin. I also used my LED current body mask. I've been going on about this mask for so long. If you're consistent with it, it works. Another device which I've been using, I'm going to actually show you how to use this because I feel like me explaining it won't do it justice. Let's focus on the face, because I've been talking about everything with the wedding and the lead up and the wedding prep, and honestly one of my most asked questions is, what did you do in the lead up with your skin? Because I have to say, on the day it really did come through, and it wasn't just a case of on the day, it was the lead up and the build up to the wedding that I really honed in on it. And I feel like if you invest in your skin, it really is going to give back. And that is not to say using loads of different products. Like I said, I really stripped it back to the core products that I know work for me, and obviously to my skin needs. Everyone's is different. Mine was more kind of pigmentation and dryness. But another thing and concern that I had is I wanted my face to be lifted and sculpted and also give that radiant glow. And there's 2 devices that I use. One I've been using for ages, which you guys will know, is the current body mask. I literally use this religiously, and to get the results of this mask you do have to use it consistently, at least every day for me. I'm using it normally in the evening when I'm reading my book and unwinding. This is a red LED light, so that is completely different to this device, which is the Ziip Halo. And I was using this, I would say, for a month and a half in the lead up to the wedding. And they do a treatment plan, which is amazing, on their app. So you can link the device to your app, and they have different treatment plans on there, and they actually have one tailored around wedding prep. So it was so perfect for me. I did the 14-day treatment, and I'm going to show you how to use it. You also need the electric complex gel. This is to go hand in hand. You put around 6 to 8 pumps of this on your skin. So I'm going to show you exactly how to use it, and I'm going to show you the before and after, because this is instant result compared to some other devices you may use, and it is basically saving you from getting loads of facials that you could just use this at home. And for me, this is what worked for my wedding. So you can put as many pumps of this, but I would probably recommend like 4 to 6, and this obviously helps with then the microcurrents. So the device actually has microcurrents and nanocurrents, and I think this is the only device actually that has a dual wave technology, because I've never known or come across a device like this. And for the price of it, like I said, it warrants having all of the facials that you're going to use. That this is basically the results that you'll get with a sculpt, lift and tone. And you can target different areas. You can target eyebrows, you can target eyes, cheeks, jawline. So if there's like one kind of concern for you, if you want a little bit more of a snatched jawline. This is the device up close. It has the 2 globes and the switch on and off button, which you literally just simply press, and then you'll see it light up, vibrate and make that sound. And then all you literally do, you can connect it to the app and do it to any kind of treatment that you want, and you just simply place it to your face and it will start to turn on. So it has these currents that run through. I don't know if you can hear it. It gives a little bit of a like vibration when to move on to the next part. So you just kind of sculpt it around your face, and you can see the device has that shape for it as well, especially if you want hair around your jawline. And it might make your face muscles twitch, because that's what it's basically working. I'm not sure if you can see a little bit with my eye now. And you do one side of your face, and then the device will beep, and then you go over to the other. So I will show you once I've done this side, because you do instantly see the difference. Okay, I've brought you in a lot closer so you can see. It will start to make your muscles twitch, and you can feel the currents. It is a little bit like of a tingling sensation on your skin. Go in motions like this around your cheekbones, your jawline, and then also here as well. And then you can follow the tutorials, which also target certain areas if you want to kind of lift your brows, your eyes, and then you do one side of your face, it will beep, and then you move on to the second. So I'm going to do this, show it you, and then move on. Can you see how this side of my face is more lifted to this? It's instantly depuffed it. And you can see here my cheekbone looks a lot more lifted to this side, which is a lot more puffy. Even around my eye, I feel like I could probably do a little bit more around my eye and eyebrow here. But just to show you quickly, immediate difference. So I'm going to do the other side, then I'll show you the before and after. Okay, this is after, so you can tailor it to how many minutes you use. I wanted to show you the immediate effects. So I'm also going to put the before and after picture on the screen so you can see. Like with devices like this, you do want to see the immediate effects of it, and you can actually save with my discount code. It gets you 15% off the device and the gels. So I'll link it all down below, because this is my little secret sauce to what I was using in the lead up to the wedding to really help tone, lift and sculpt my face. I really wanted to share it with you. I feel like it was about time that I shared all of the wedding prep in the lead up that I did. Chris is here, but also Bailey has decided he wants to be part of the Q&A as well. But I thought let's just kind of do the overall scope of the wedding, of like where it was, why we chose it, events, and then we're going to get into the Q&A.
So why did we choose it?
Well, where was it to begin with?
It was in Sorrento, in Italy, where we go quite often, because your sister lives there.
Well, yeah, another backstory though, which I think I've actually explained this in a Q&A before with the wedding, but obviously I never actually shared the wedding venue with you. We kept it until obviously the wedding day. But I did kind of hint it on my socials, and no one had picked up until afterwards. A few of you were messaging me like, I can't believe you were actually putting it in the photos and we didn't click on. That when we went to do like food tasting, and we had gone there in the summers as well, like when I visited my sister, I had taken pictures of like Villa store in the background, but obviously no one knew back then. So it was small little hints. But the reason we chose it as well is because I had seen this venue like 2 years prior when I was sat on the solarium where we actually had the night before event. And I looked up and I said, if I was to ever get married, I want to get married there. Never like researched it. And then little did I know, Chris was planning to propose and had already inquired, which is actually so weird if you think about it now.
Yeah, so when I bought the ring, I inquired at like 3 different places. But the reason I was inquiring in that place was because we'd spoken about that area.
Yeah, but we'd never found that venue, had we?
Yeah, but because my sister like gifted us a venue, didn't she? The venues, one was in Ravello in the hills of the Amalfi Coast, and the other one was in Mykonos, and she ended up getting married in Mykonos. So she was like, Chloe, you can have this venue. This was before I proposed, so obviously I was like freaking out every time she said it. But when I did propose, I'd already had 3 quotes for venues in the Amalfi Coast and Sorrento, and that was one of them. And that was the one I thought, wow, that's amazing. And
we did go and view a few other venues, which maybe I'll share in a separate video, but we just wasn't getting the feeling that we did as soon as we walked into Villa store. And we actually felt like a little deflated, didn't we, when we were looking at venues? We were like,
yeah, they ticked some boxes.
There was always,
nice.
There was always a but with it. And we did actually go and see this one in Ravello, which is Shimbroni, but it just had too many factors for us that wouldn't have worked. It was a beautiful venue, but it was very costly, and there was too many factors that we would have had to work around. Whereas we found with Villa store, it seemed a lot more straightforward. However, little did we know down the line, it probably wasn't. It was not straightforward, no. We managed to make it work in the end. So that's kind of the backstory of the venue and why we chose it. And honestly, as soon as we walked into Villa store, we just fell in love. Like, so many factors, and we always wanted our wedding day to kind of be across different layers. So we wanted to be able to move around, host in different areas, and with Villa store, you could easily do that. We don't have any regrets.
No.
No, not with the venue. Like, the venue was stunning, but
no regrets whatsoever. It was just really expensive.
Yeah. which with our venue you have to get every single vendor, so it doesn't come as a package deal. Some of the venues we saw do, but with Villa Store it doesn't. So literally every knife, fork, napkin, chair, you name it, electricity, you have to bring it in for this venue. So that's why we were very, very stressed, and why it took us so long to plan this wedding as well.
And we also had to do it on a Thursday, because if you wanted it on the weekend, you needed to book it for 2 nights.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that.
No, actually, you had to book it for 2 nights and the entire accommodation. So that would have been 3 times the price, hence why we did it on Thursday.
But there wasn't a lot of rooms there. So if you want your family to stay, we even said there'd be arguments, because who would we have stay there? There wasn't enough rooms.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't have worked. We also hosted events around the wedding, which ended up being like one of our favourites, which was the night before. We did do a few other events, like we had a welcome dinner for just our families, which was really lovely, and it was like such a nice way to kickstart. Beautiful under the lemon trees. And that was just like a really nice way to start the week, wasn't it? And I feel like that's what it kind of felt real for us. And we were just seeing people arrive, like walking around Sorrento, bumping into them, and it was just such a nice feeling. And everyone was arriving at different times, so we did have kind of like a beach pool party day for everyone that was there already. And my god, we had so many spreadsheets of like when people are arriving, people's flight times. Like, I never want to look at them spreadsheets again. It did work out amazing in the end, because we spent so much time with the people obviously that we wanted there and our loved ones. And
if you do a destination wedding, you feel like you have to do something before and you have to do something after, and you feel like you're a host of the holiday.
Yeah, but I do recommend what we did as well. So we did the welcome dinner, we did like a beach day, but the welcome cocktail drinks, which was the night before, was like literally one of our favourite things ever, wasn't it? We obviously knew it was going to be a good time, but we didn't anticipate the magic of that evening and the feeling we felt. And it was just, I feel like the only word for it was magic. Like, it was one of my favourite nights ever.
The sun was setting over the ocean.
Yeah.
There was a saxophone player. People got together and having conversations and meeting each other was just surreal.
Yeah,
and
everyone
then,
instantly got on.
And then we didn't realise it was going to actually turn into a bit of a party, and people started drinking quite a lot. It was meant to be like a relaxed, laid back.
But it was fun. It was so fun. Everyone was just on a vibe. And my sister and my best friend did a speech, which was so beautiful. And I feel like it brought everyone together, and really great kickstart for the week, because the venue we did it on, which was the solarium, we actually was able to look up at the venue at a different view than you would be able to see on the wedding day. And that was actually the solarium where I originally had found the venue in such. And it was just such a nice way to be like, this is where we're getting married tomorrow. The sun was setting, and it was like in the old town of Sorrento, and it was just completely magical. So
I don't think that's going to work.
Chris swallowed front and centre.
My bum was falling asleep.
But we did keep to tradition, which was we slept apart the night before. So my sister did it for her wedding. Also, your sister did it as well. And I just think it's really nice, because my sister stayed in our room, where we were actually staying at Hotel Excelsior, and our room was lovely. And we just had some time to like unwind together, and my girls had made me this really lovely package of just everything that I love, like my Stanley cup, mint teas, pack of sweets. And they'd done me like a lovely wedding post. And then, yeah, we hadn't basically seen each other then until the actual ceremony. Host an event after the wedding, which was more of like a recovery day. Again, it was on the solarium, but it was on the other side of the wedding venue, so you got to see a different perspective of it, which was really nice as well. But I feel like we should get into the Q&A now.
We haven't started the Q&A.
No. So how many guests did we have?
We invited about 125 guests.
Yeah, I think it was that in the end.
And a lot of people were saying for a destination wedding, you're probably going to have 30% of guests decline. And we were about at that. Maybe just a bit less. We ended up on 90, and then we had 4 or 5 last minute dropouts.
I think the main factor is that we didn't have children at our wedding, so obviously that is a big factor with people, which is totally understandable. Some people, you know, enjoyed the fact that they had a weekend free. Some people just couldn't make it because of childcare and whatnot. Yeah. And then we did have some pullouts last minute, which again, people had kind of give us a heads up on. And again, they were like more than reasonable reasons of, you know, either pregnancy or traveling across the states, because some of my friends live in the US and it was just impossible for them. 80s, I believe, in the end it was like 86.
86.
Yeah. Husband is Greek, but no Greek ceremony, question mark.
That's not a question, that's a statement.
Yeah. But I think they're asking why did
why did we not do a Greek ceremony? Firstly, we were in Italy, so in order to do a religious wedding, we would have had to find a Greek Orthodox church, an Orthodox Christian church, and the closest Orthodox church was in Naples.
Yeah, I remember
that was quite far away. And
the logistics of it just basically didn't work.
Yeah, the Christmas before, so that was done, and then really we just wanted it to be our celebration rather than the traditional and typical Greek weddings, of which you've been to lots of them.
Yeah. I feel like this was actually a big question when you guys were asking as soon as kind of we flew over, which was how did you manage travelling with all of the luggage? And I have to say, travelling business with BA was amazing. They were so helpful.
Yeah, it was actually. It was still a faff though.
I mean, we had a lot of luggage because we had to bring everything over. So we brought all of our stationery, all the candles, just basically everything that we needed to have got shipped to Italy, we had to bring ourselves because of the logistics.
Both your dresses.
3 dresses, like heel, everything we brought over. So I think we had like 5 suitcases in the end, plus like my trunk of my dresses and whatnot. But we did travel business, which means you get extra luggage allowance, and the people on, like the air hostess on BA was so nice as well.
Yeah.
We got front seats, they really looked after us, they gave us like a bottle of champagne. There is like a section as well that you can hang things in the BA cabins, which is great as well, as just a heads up. So I do recommend flying with them if you are doing a destination wedding. Your evening looked so fun. Who was entertaining? Did you have live music?
So we had a jazz band after the ceremony during the aperitif.
Yeah, but to start with we had Luke.
Oh yeah, we had Luke, yeah, sorry. So we had Luke Burr singing us down the aisle.
So Luke was actually one of the first people we booked for our wedding because we instantly knew we wanted to have him. He is unreal and he honestly made our wedding day. So we booked our venue, then we booked Luke. So we had like no food, nothing else, just basically venue and Luke for probably a few weeks. But that's just how much we knew we wanted to have him, and we did book him way in advance, which I'm not sure now if he does do as many weddings. So we got quite lucky. He sung me down the aisle, which was amazing. And then we had him again in the evening for dinner, which was really kind of beautiful ballads, low-key, like really romantic songs, and he got the whole crowd going even at this point. And everyone was really shocked because we left him as a surprise, didn't we? We hadn't really told anyone, and it was such a nice point and reaction to see everyone just be so shocked by him, because honestly really, his voice,
he created the mood.
Yeah, he really did. Like the atmosphere was just beautiful. I mean, it was definitely our favourite part of the day, wasn't it? Like when we look back, we're like,
sat at dinner with Luke singing his acoustic set was beautiful, and then he basically like elevated the whole dinner into a party, and he just kind of stopped singing acoustics
on his second
got
set.
Everyone stood up.
Well, it was after our first dance.
Yeah, so we did the first dance, and then he took that into a party, and then he was singing garage, he was singing, you know, R&B, pop, just like house songs. He was
remixing them live. I can't even explain. It was just so much fun. Everyone was up. The dance floor was even shaking. It was just such a vibe. And he also sang us our first song, our first dance, sorry, and the dance with my dad as well. So having him sing live, I just think created such an ambience and atmosphere. And then having live music, because we also had it at Aperitif. We had an Italian band.
It was a jazz band.
Yeah.
We were meant to be taking photos at the time, but we got a bit of FOMO, so we ended up
spending
most of the aperitif with the guests.
Yeah, which I actually don't regret.
Which was a nice atmosphere. Yeah.
But we always kind of planned that we were going to do that because we wanted to actually be present on our day and be with our guests. So I'm glad we did that. And me and Chris love like jazz and Motown, and we obviously wanted to incorporate that into the day.
After dinner, after dancing, we had
our after party. Yeah,
we moved into the villa, and my uncle DJ'd for the rest of the night.
So fun.
And he was awesome as well. We kind of gave him a few themes. We didn't give him a playlist, we just gave him some themes of what we liked, so you could get an idea, and that was
he smashed out of the park. Yeah,
old school R&B,
we did some
garage,
Greek dances,
bit of Greek,
yeah. It was so fun.
That got a bit out of hand.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was a good question. Did you plan for rain? Did you have a plan B? And honestly,
Plan B,
I feel like we probably
don't get married.
I feel like we probably need to get into this a bit more with our venue, but to have a plan B for our wedding if it was to rain was just outrageous. You basically have to book the wedding venue again for a whole nother day prior and get a marquee set up, which in Italy they have a lot of like the glass marquees, which obviously is very, very costly. I can't even put into words how much it would have cost just if it rained. So we just basically said to our planner, nope, if it rains, we're just gonna have to suck it up.
Just get married in the rain.
We just had no, you know.
We would have actually done it.
Yeah, but thankfully we had the best weather. The skies were blue, not a cloud in sight. It was absolutely perfect.
Dreadful.
What did you guys budget, and did you go over budget?
Yes, we went over budget. I had a budget in my mind when we first started thinking about the wedding, and you had a budget in your mind, and we went over your budget, and we went way over my budget.
To put it shortly, yeah.
But given the numbers, it was well over budget. What did we learn? First one is that's a very expensive region.
Yeah.
Secondly, if you don't speak the language and you're from London or you're from another country,
They do kind
there's
of
definitely
work
a
on
premium.
that. Yeah.
Thirdly, obviously we tried to reduce as much money as possible where we could, but because that particular venue only had like approved vendors, we were limited with what we could do, and a lot of them were catering to high-end weddings.
So had hidden costs that we weren't made aware of until like a few weeks before, and even extra hidden costs, like you have to pay music tax in Italy, so we had to pay music tax for the night before, music tax for the wedding night. We had a hidden cost within our venue that they told us a few weeks prior, which was hidden in the contract, which is one of the most crazy ones, which was electricity. So we had to get a vendor in to basically run electric, sound and lighting, which was a massive cost for us. So all of these things just racked up in the end. Know what song to walk down the aisle to. I feel like a lot of people were messaging saying that they're so confused or like stressed out about it, but I think for us we just instantly knew what the song was going to be, because
I think ours was easy.
Yeah, because we loved Luke Burr and we had fallen in love with this cover he had done, which I actually used this song on our proposal video. It always was just kind of like a special song to us. You would do differently. Less
flowers.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Less flowers, maybe do some of our own stationery. It's all to do with cost, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, our florals on the day were absolutely stunning. Our florist was amazing and she really brought my vision to life, which actually I kind of changed within the last few weeks. I'd always got kind of like the set flowers I wanted, given it was spring and what was in bloom, and I really wanted to lean into the venue, and there were so many beautiful urns within the venue and statues, and I really wanted to lean into that, and the venue itself was stunning, so we knew we didn't have to do too much because there was so much greenery and gardens. So in the end, I kind of changed it and I really leant into it and did these beautiful urns which were kind of toppled over, stood up, filled with flowers. And we didn't want to do the typical wedding arch as well for the ceremony. So we leant into the venue again and it had this beautiful urn on the edge of the cliff, and we filled that with florals, and then we kind of scattered them around the floor. And obviously we reutilized a lot of it throughout the day, so we were able to do them at dinner, we were able to put them on the dance floor, we were able to dress like the front of the venue, bring some to cocktail hour. Because we did our sections of the day very spread out throughout the venue, we had to obviously keep it going and keep everything decorated as well. I think you have to pick out 3 important things as a couple, and for us it was food and drink, entertainment and photography, and I think that is where we did invest our money, and that is what kind of showed on the day for us. So I think a big tip is always just to pick your top 3, and obviously it will change for every couple, but for us, and what we had kind of picked on from going to other weddings, is these are like 3 things that your guests really take away as well, and I'm so glad we did.
I think another thing that could have done differently for you is drink more.
Yeah, I didn't manage to, well, I didn't want to drink a lot on the day anyway, but obviously looking back, there were so many cocktails and stuff we had chose. We had 6 different cocktails. I obviously couldn't drink every single one. Then we had pizza in the evening. Obviously I only had like a slice or 2. So yeah, I wish I could have eaten more of the food because it was amazing. Why are you laughing to yourself? I could do with the rosé. Thank you, husband. Cheers, guys. This wedding Q&A has led us to drink. One of the questions was, and these are kind of like very similar questions, is what would you change, redo if you could? Is there anything that went wrong on the day? Anything you'd do differently?
Wrong on the day. A few things.
Yeah, do you want to spill the tea?
Funny, but you didn't find it funny at the time. But during the cake cutting, we were meant to have
I don't think any bride would have found this funny at the time.
We were meant to have music playing whilst we cut the cake. So we kind of stood at the table, all of the guests are watching us.
It was just after dinner.
Yeah, just after dinner. We've got the knife in our hand and we're waiting for the music. No music's playing. We're kind of looking around. We're looking up at the technician who's... Yeah. We can see him in the distance and he's just sort of got his legs up.
Bearing in mind, there's obviously been music playing the whole time. Like, we had specific playlists set out, like...
Yeah, it was all set out.
Wedding cake, wedding entrance. Like, it was very, very...
Anyway, so we go to cut the cake, there's no music, we look up at him, we're trying to get his attention, like... Anyway, he finally snaps his attention and goes, presses play, and then instead of our romantic wedding cake music, UK Garage starts blaring out. What song was it? You just
couldn't write it.
What song, what
was it? Oh my god, it was just like, just not the moment at all.
It was literally just pure garage.
Everything had been like really romantic, everyone's like in a really nice mood. You know, candles are going, and then bam, just garage right in the middle. I was like, please change the song,
yeah.
Which they...
And then there were a couple of kind of staging, like moving people around the venue problems. There were small problems, but...
Nothing that anyone noticed, apart from me and Chris. And people actually told us this, like our close friends. They were like, guys, something will go wrong on the day. Probably no one will know, but you will know, and you've just got to let it go. And things did go wrong. And none of the guests actually realised, apart from us. And yeah, like Chris said, it was to do with mainly the position in the staging of the day. Because, and is there anything that we would change or redo? I don't actually think there is. I think
I'd love to redo the whole night.
Yeah, I would love to redo it and relive it. And we keep saying that to each other. Like when we went on the mini moon to Capri, we were really reliving it because you're in such a blur for like a day or so, and then yeah, you start reliving all these amazing moments. And I said to Chris, like, I wish I could take myself back now, being less stressed, and relive that day. I had the best day ever, and we really were, you know, living in the moment. But there's so many things you look back on and you're just like...
It was stressful. Yeah. It was hard to completely switch off because you always felt like you wanted to make sure the day was running smoothly. To
answer the question, we wouldn't actually change anything for the world. I think it was just perfect. Anything you don't regret going over budget on? I think the photographer and videographer.
Photography, videography, I think entertainment as well.
Did you have any guest list drama? Oh, I need a drink for this one.
I don't think it was that bad. There were a few people who were not able to come because they couldn't bring their kids. I don't think they gave us a really hard time.
No, not at all. Like, there wasn't drama.
I don't think there was much drama.
No.
There were a few people who we weren't able to give +1s to, and we knew that they were a bit disappointed. We had to be really strict. The venue was, you know, not very accommodating for over 100 guests.
Yeah.
And kind of is what it is, isn't it? But
would love to see a close-up of the engagement and wedding ring. So I have actually done a whole post on this. I will kind of show you here on the camera, but I'll put pictures because it might not pick it up as well, because there's lovely details within my wedding band of the hearts. You can kind of see it, but I'm going to put a picture in a video. You'll be able to see it up close. And Chris has got his gold band. There you go. Hey. But yeah, I'll put pictures on the screen because we got these through Frost of London. He is a family friend, amazing, and he has helped us so much with the ring process because we felt a little bit lost with it because we did go around shopping for the wedding bands and we were just like, nothing is standing out to us. Remember, he helped us throughout the whole process, so highly recommend.
Yeah, he's been amazing.
Yeah, the questions we're gonna end on is going on your honeymoon. So we actually did, I guess it was kind of like a pre-honeymoon in Safari in South Africa. So our plan always, we've kind of spoken about it for a honeymoon, is we always wanted to do kind of like an adventurous one and then a chill one. So my best friend got married in South Africa recently in March. So we planned to do our honeymoon as like early on there, and it was the most amazing experience. And we really went all out with it, and you know, it felt so luxurious whilst we were there as well. And it was just unreal. And it's one of those experiences that it's just a once in a lifetime experience, isn't it, to go on safari? Like, we had the most amazing time. Like, we saw the big five within the first day. The food, the service, just everything.
It was all inclusive.
Yeah.
We definitely got our fair share.
Yeah, so
I had like 2 breakfasts, 2 drinking champagne at breakfast.
Yeah, so we really enjoyed ourselves there on like our pre-honeymoon, if you call it, and then straight after our wedding, the day after, if that makes sense, we went over to Capri and spent some days there just chilling out. Like decompressed and had a bit of a mini moon for like 3 or 4 nights. And then our later honeymoon we are going to plan down the line. We feel like there was just so much to plan around the wedding and the wedding itself. We were like, let's just leave that for like an afterthought. So hopefully we'll get around to it towards the end of the year. Okay, the camera battery's flashing at us. It's low battery. I think that is telling us we've been chatting for far too long, but we kind of want to round it off here. There's so much to talk about, so much to answer. So if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments down below and we'll try and get back to them all, because it was such a process for us. It was over a year of planning, the wedding day itself and all the events. There's so much to share, but hopefully this covered a lot and answered your questions and gave you a bit of insight into our wedding. Again, you can see the article over on the wedding edition, which I'll leave down below. And I'm so excited to share the whole wedding video with you and more content to come. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys did and seeing Chris on the channel a little bit more, please do give it a like. Make sure to comment and make sure to subscribe so you can keep up with the rest of the videos. And we'll see you guys in the next one.